Good morning.
So we've got 5 minutes. I don't know whether you've been listening, but suggest you just leave some time for questioning. Otherwise, we'll just run out of time, unfortunately.
Sure. I oppose the extending the parliamentary or even local government term from 3 years to 4 years because we don't have adequate constitutional safeguards in place to entrust the government with a 4-year term, in my view. I'd like to begin by quoting the United States founding father, the fourth president of the United States, James Madison, who makes the point rather well. If men were angels, no government would be necessary. If angels were to govern men, neither external nor internal controls on government would be necessary. In framing a government which is to be administered by men over men, the great difficulty lies in this. You must first enable the government to control the governed, and the next place, oblige it to control itself. So the purpose of a constitution is to oblige a government, comprised of men, to control itself, and the temptation of men in government is to pass unconstitutional law. Unfortunately, New Zealand has very weak constitutional arrangements. We have a so-called unwritten constitution that is written, but in various different places, and most people don't know where to find it. So effectively, from that point of view, you could argue that we don't have much of a constitution. We also lack, as Canada has, a charter of rights that is superior to other laws. We lack an upper house, or a senate, if you like, to have oversight of the House of Representatives. We did have one in New Zealand until it was abolished in 1951. We lack a president independent of Parliament who has right of veto over any new legislation. We lack courts that are unable to veto legislation that is inconsistent with the Constitution. And our Parliament is described as sovereign, whereas the United States Constitution, each of the branches of government are described as co-equal. So I would argue that a 3-year term is perfectly reasonable in our current circumstances. The United States House of Representatives only has a 2-year term. The upper house, the Senate, does have a 6-year term, but a third of them are up for re-election every 2 years. So that means the balance of power in both the House and the Senate can be changed every 2 years. Australia has similar arrangements with a 3-year term. So I would argue that some of the other nations that have longer terms, such as the United Kingdom, a 5-year term, aren't faring well, and there is arguably a crisis of confidence in government over there. So in conclusion, where does this leave the good people of New Zealand? At the mercy of our Parliament, who are not comprised of angels, who lack the constitutional mechanisms for their government to be properly controlled. Our 3-year term is in fact our greatest constitutional safeguard against a feral government, against tyranny, against an elected dictatorship, if that's what you want to call it. A 4-year term would significantly diminish this lonely constitutional safeguard. It is therefore my submission that we have insufficient safeguards in place, and let's stick with what we've got until we have some significant constitutional safeguards.
Well, thank you, Councillor Lee. First question is from Mr. Rutherford.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And g'day, Robert. Nice to see you again. Question from me. You talked about your concerns around a 4-year term for local government as well. You've talked about concerns with central government, with not having an upper house, a president, court, veto powers, that sort of thing. But can you talk about your concerns for a 4-year term potentially for local government?
Well, I think it's convenient that local government terms match the central government terms. I've just completing my first term as a councillor in Rotorua here, and I think the timing has worked out well. The public are in a good position to see whether we've kept our promises, and it's about time we applied for our jobs again. And a 4-year commitment is actually a long period of time. It's longer than a degree in university, for example. So,
all right. Hey, thank you, and thank you for your fine quote at the outset. All right, appreciate that. We'll move on now.
Well, that's, I think we see a future, it's in the ballot candidate to appear on the show.
Yeah, he speaks clearly to me. That's very, very knowledgeable. Yeah. So my notes are, he's quoted James Madison regarding angels and men. We need proper safeguards in place. Reference something that changed in 1951. We don't have structures in place to veto government decisions and courts. So our parliament is considered sovereign. The USA have their House of Representatives changes every 2 years. Australia government's fit to stick with their 3-year stuff. UK has 5-year things, and crisis of confidence. All of that. Yeah, I want to clip his speech, slow down our facials.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get on to the next clip on there. Just a moment while it move across.
Albina, thank you, Marina, and joining us this morning. One piece of advice: when you do a submission, good to put your name on it because we get so many. But thank you. You've got 5 minutes.